Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. Today's going to be kind of a quick discussion video just about booktube culture and how booktube has changed my reading habits and my buying habits. I'm completely talking off the cuff for this one, so it might be completely terrible, but we're just gonna go for it. So I started watching booktube. I knew it existed for quite a long time. Like, I'd seen some book review videos, but I didn't know that it was like a community until probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And then I didn't start watching really intensely until about 2 years ago. That's when I started getting really active on Goodreads. That's when I started following more authors and booktubers and book bloggers and all kinds of things, like on Twitter and stuff. And I feel like booktube really rejuvenated my reading experience, because I've been a reader as long as I can remember. Like, since I was a little kid, I was reading. I would read all the time. I would read in class. Like, I remember I went to a parent-teacher conference in like 3rd or 4th grade, and I had only a check instead of a check plus for being engaged in classwork, and I was like, I do my work, what are you talking about? And my teacher was like, I have to ask you at least once almost every single day to put your book away and pay attention to me. I was like, okay, you right, that's fair. But when I got into late high school is kind of when I stopped reading, like probably my sophomore, junior year, because I was really involved with school. Like, I was in show choir, I was in theater, I was in student council, I was in National Honor Society, I did this, I did that, I did all these things. Like, I had a job, I did a million different things. I look back on it and I'm like, how did I exist? How did I live like that? But because of that, I kind of stopped reading. And that lasted until like my senior year of college. So for like 4 years, I wasn't really reading a lot. And I started watching booktube maybe 2 years ago, so that's around my senior year, or like right before my senior year of college started. And I was like, okay, like, I want to read again, I want to be involved, I want to be in these conversations. And then my first semester, my senior year of college, I was also in a class about young adult literature, because I was an English education major, so we had to take a class about young adult books. And I think for that class, we had to read like 12 novels, which for some people were like, oh man, this is a lot. And I was like, I've always been a fast reader, so I was like, okay, no problem, 12 books in 4 months, like, we good, I got this. So I was reading the books required for that class, and that led me to some other books that were similar, and it led me to getting more involved with the bookish community. And so I started reading a ton. Like, I started tracking my reading exactly 2 years ago. June of 2017 is when I started tracking on Goodreads, like, okay, I read these books in this month. And it's been really interesting to see how my reading habits change and how my ratings have gone up and down, and the trends of what kinds of books I read in what months is just really interesting. But because I had to do that, because I had to read so much for my classes, I started buying more books. And at first I just was buying books for that class, and then I was like, well, I have to spend however much more money to get free shipping, because that's how we all justify things to ourselves on the internet, right? So I started buying more and more books, and like anytime that anyone mentioned something on booktube, I was like, I'm gonna get that book. So I had a huge book outlet splurge for a little while. And then my final semester, my senior year, I was student teaching, and we did silent reading at the beginning of every class. So 6 class periods a day, 10 minutes of silent reading every single day. That's an hour just at school, like basically doing my job. So I was reading a ton at school. Like, there were a couple of times where I would finish an entire book in one school day just from doing SSR. Like, it was crazy. So booktube definitely rejuvenated my love of reading, but also I got sucked into the consumerism a little bit. And this is not an attack on any person on booktube. It's like internet culture in general. It's not just booktube, and it's not individual people in the makeup community or the fashion community or on booktube. Like, the internet and YouTube like really emphasizes how important it is to have things, which I don't love. So I got sucked into that for a little bit, but I kind of got out of it pretty fast because I was not raised with a lot of money. I still don't have a lot of money because I'm a teacher. So I really have to take a step back and think about, what books do I really want to own? Like, what do I want to spend my money on? So for a few months, I was like really into the buy. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to make sure that I have a library card when I move somewhere new, because when I moved to my current city, like the second day that I lived here, I went to the public library and I was like, yeah, can I get a library card? Like, I use Libby, I use Hoopla, I don't go nuts with my book buying because I just can't afford it, and I am someone who likes to spend my money on experiences rather than material things. Like, not to say that I don't like owning things, because I do, but, like, if it's a choice between, I have $5,000 and I can go to Disney World, or I can buy however many books that $5,000 buys, I'm gonna go to Disney World. You get what I'm saying? So that's just a quick discussion about me and my personal journey through booktube and my reading journey, I guess. If you want a more detailed video about my reading journey, I could tell you that. If anybody wants it, then leave a comment or like this video so I know that you're interested in that. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.